Affordable garden makeover, timeless landscaping ideas, and home and garden tour. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this presentation. Today we will explore a journey of transformation, an affordable yet timeless garden makeover that blends landscaping artistry with modern home design. Think of this as not just a project of renovating soil and stone, but a renewal of lifestyle, a reimagining of space, and a celebration of beauty that can be achieved without overspending. When we speak of a budget-friendly garden makeover, it is easy to assume compromise. Many imagine limited plant varieties, simple paving, or minimal furniture. Yet the truth is quite the opposite. Budget does not mean bland, and cost-effective design does not imply a lack of sophistication. With creativity, thoughtful planning, and a strategic eye for both aesthetics and function, even the humblest backyard or front lawn can be reshaped into an inviting oasis. Every successful makeover begins with observation. Before a single plant is chosen or a stone is laid, the designer studies the land. How does the sun fall across the garden throughout the day? Where does water naturally collect after rainfall? What existing trees, hedges, or structures already shape the space? These observations reveal the canvas upon which the new design will emerge. A budget-friendly approach thrives on respect for what is already present. Instead of uprooting mature trees, they are incorporated as focal points. Rather than discarding weathered pavers, they can be repurposed into pathways or edging. Sustainability begins with reuse, and in doing so, the character of the garden remains intact while costs are minimized. What makes a design timeless? It is balance, harmony, and proportion. Unlike passing trends that dominate a single season, timeless landscapes embrace enduring principles that feel as relevant today as they did decades ago. Symmetry, natural flow, and integration with the home's architecture create a seamless connection between indoors and outdoors. A tree is not simply shade, it is a vertical anchor. A pathway is not merely a way to move through the space, it is a visual guide that draws the eye toward focal points. A small pond or fountain is not just a water feature, it is a mirror that reflects light and sky, extending the sense of openness. The timeless garden is not cluttered, it is intentional. And in this intentionality, there lies affordability. When fewer, well-chosen elements are placed with care, the result is elegance without excess. As we stand in the present era, we notice several movements shaping the way people view their outdoor living spaces. These trends not only inspire, but also reveal where the future of landscaping and home design is heading. More homeowners seek drought-resistant plants, native species, and edible gardens that provide both beauty and function. Rainwater harvesting systems, permeable paving, and solar lighting are no longer luxuries, but accessible options for anyone mindful of the environment. The garden is no longer a separate entity. It is an extension of the home. Comfortable seating, outdoor kitchens, and shaded pergolas turn a garden into a social hub. Even on a budget, modular furniture, reclaimed wood, or DIY pergolas make this vision achievable. Clean lines, neutral palettes, and uncluttered spaces dominate modern design, softened by natural stone, warm wood, and ornamental grasses. Smart technology such as automated irrigation, solar lighting, and app-controlled devices is more affordable than ever, and gardens are increasingly seen as sanctuaries of wellness, offering meditation corners, yoga decks, or hammocks for daily mindfulness. If these are the trends of today, what might tomorrow bring? We anticipate even greater emphasis on climate-adaptive landscaping. Cities around the world face heat, floods, and changing seasons. The gardens of the future must be resilient, capable of thriving in unpredictability. Designers will embrace multifunctional landscapes, spaces that capture stormwater, produce food, and generate shade while maintaining beauty. Aesthetically, the future favors fluidity. Borders between indoor and outdoor spaces will blur further. Sliding glass walls, open courtyards, and garden-integrated architecture will shape homes that breathe with nature. On the stylistic horizon, cultural influences will merge. Mediterranean stonework with Japanese minimalism, or Scandinavian simplicity infused with tropical lushness. These are not speculative fantasies. Already, such elements are emerging in contemporary design. One of the most powerful truths of design is that constraint inspires creativity. When unlimited funds are available, it is easy to fill a garden with imported materials, rare plants, and luxury furnishings. Yet such abundance often lacks soul. A budget forces focus. Which plants truly belong in the soil of this climate? Which local stones harmonize with the existing architecture? Which recycled materials can be reborn into something useful and beautiful? An old wooden ladder becomes a vertical planter. Discarded bricks form a rustic pathway. Pallets transform into garden furniture. Clay pots, when grouped and staggered, create sculptural interest. Cost saving becomes artistry, and the garden gains not just beauty, but also a story, an authenticity that no store-bought design can replicate. Imagine a modest suburban home with a neglected backyard. Patches of dry grass, a few struggling shrubs, and a chain-link fence define the space. The homeowners desire a welcoming retreat, but are limited by budget. The makeover begins with a plan. Retain the healthiest shrubs and prune them into shape. Replace patchy lawn areas with gravel and stepping stones to reduce maintenance. Introduce native flowering plants that attract pollinators. Use reclaimed timber to build a simple pergola, providing shade for a seating corner. Add inexpensive solar string lights to create evening ambiance. The result is astonishing. What was once barren becomes alive. What was once a yard becomes a sanctuary. And all this is achieved at a fraction of the cost of a high-end redesign. Design is not merely visual, it is emotional. A garden invites feelings of calm, inspiration, and connection. The crunch of gravel underfoot, the fragrance of herbs in the air, the sight of butterflies flitting from flower to flower, these are not luxuries, but human necessities. They remind us of our place in the natural world and ground us in moments of daily life. In a time where digital screens consume hours of attention, stepping into a thoughtfully designed garden, even one crafted with the smallest budget, offers balance. It becomes a restorative retreat for individuals, a gathering place for families, and a welcoming stage for guests. Thus, we complete this first chapter of exploration. We have seen the importance of observation, the enduring principles of timeless landscaping, the trends shaping present and future, and the creativity sparked by financial constraints. Above all, design is more than decoration. It is a dialogue between home, garden, and the people who inhabit them. Now that the foundation of vision has been established, it is time to move into the practical strategies and techniques that turn imagination into reality. A garden makeover, even when limited by budget, succeeds only when clear steps are taken to align resources with design intent. The difference between a dream and a finished sanctuary lies in careful planning, clever choices, and a commitment to balance. The first step is to define zones. Every outdoor space benefits from division into areas that serve specific functions. A seating zone, a dining area, a play corner for children, a pathway, or a quiet retreat. Even in the smallest gardens, these zones create a sense of purpose. For example, a simple gravel path can divide the garden into quadrants, each with its own mood. A wooden bench under a tree becomes a reading corner. A raised bed near the kitchen door transforms into a functional herb garden. The key is clarity. Each space must tell a story and serve a use. Once zones are identified, circulation becomes essential. Pathways are the threads that stitch the zones together. They guide movement, create rhythm, and offer continuity. For a budget-conscious design, gravel, reclaimed bricks, or stepping stones are affordable yet effective options. Curved paths soften the space, while straight lines emphasize structure. A well-designed path does not simply take someone from point A to point B, it encourages a journey, a gradual unfolding of discovery. Materials form the backbone of the makeover. Choosing wisely allows for both style and economy. Gravel is inexpensive and versatile, adding texture while aiding drainage. Timber, especially when salvaged, can be used for decking, raised planters, or pergolas. Concrete blocks, often overlooked, can be stacked into retaining walls or painted to mimic stone. Metal elements such as steel edging or repurposed iron provide durability and a modern accent. What matters most is consistency. A garden that mixes too many materials feels disjointed, but when 2 or 3 complementary textures repeat throughout, harmony emerges. Plant selection is where artistry meets practicality. Plants bring life, color, and character, yet they also demand maintenance and water. To balance beauty with budget, focus on a palette that emphasizes perennials, natives, and seasonal highlights. Perennials return year after year, reducing the need for replanting. Native plants thrive in local conditions, requiring less water and fewer resources. Adding a few dramatic accent plants, a sculptural agave, a flowering cherry, or a row of ornamental grasses, creates focal points without overwhelming costs. Layering is essential. Ground covers soften the soil, shrubs build structure, and taller trees or climbers add vertical depth. Together, they form a tapestry that feels lush and complete. Water management is another pillar of design. Without it, even the most beautiful garden struggles to survive. Budget-friendly systems include rain barrels that capture roof runoff, drip irrigation that conserves water by targeting roots, and gravel beds that improve drainage. Creative integration ensures these systems do not look utilitarian, but rather become part of the design language. A rain chain doubles as a sculptural element. A gravel swale lined with river rocks becomes a decorative dry creek bed. Function and beauty coexist. Furniture and accessories elevate the garden from outdoor space to outdoor living room. Expensive furniture is unnecessary when creativity thrives. Wooden pallets transform into sofas with the addition of cushions. Old barrels or crates become tables. Even mismatched chairs, when unified with a coat of paint, create charm. Accessories such as lanterns, hanging lights, or woven rugs add warmth. The principle is atmosphere, not extravagance. What matters most is how the space feels when someone steps into it. Welcoming, comfortable, and alive. Lighting, often underestimated, extends the usability of the garden into the evening. Solar lights are affordable and easy to install. String lights bring intimacy to dining areas. Spotlights highlight trees or sculptures, while lanterns mark pathways. Light creates drama and invites people to linger, turning a garden into a place not only for daylight activity, but also for nighttime gatherings. Color theory plays a vital role in creating cohesion. Just as in interior design, outdoor spaces benefit from a defined palette. Warm earth tones, terracotta, sand, beige, convey a Mediterranean feel. Cool grays, whites, and greens suggest a modern minimalist style. Bold pops of color from cushions, ceramic pots, or flowers inject personality. The budget-friendly approach favors restraint. Instead of scattering every hue, focus on a theme. A garden dominated by shades of green with touches of lavender purple, for example, feels calm and timeless. Incorporating verticality is another strategy for small or cost-conscious gardens. Vertical planters, trellises, or green walls maximize space without expanding the footprint. Climbing plants, such as jasmine, ivy, or roses, transform fences into living screens. Hanging baskets fill the air with flowers, adding layers of beauty at different heights. These solutions are not only practical, but also inexpensive, relying on wood, wire, or simple containers. Sustainability remains a guiding principle. Compost bins turn kitchen scraps into soil enrichment. Mulch conserves water and reduces weeds. Choosing local materials reduces transport costs and environmental impact. Even in modest gardens, these actions echo a broader philosophy to design not only for personal enjoyment, but also for ecological responsibility. Consider an example of transformation using these techniques. A narrow side yard, often neglected, is redesigned with a gravel path lined with tall grasses, creating a corridor of movement. A vertical trellis supports climbing vegetables, turning a forgotten strip into a productive kitchen garden. Reclaimed wood frames a small seating nook with foldable chairs, offering a private retreat. The entire project costs little, but the effect is profound. The space, once ignored, becomes a cherished part of daily life. Equally important is maintenance planning. A garden is not a static creation. It grows, shifts, and changes. Budget-friendly design respects the future by minimizing upkeep. Low-maintenance plants, efficient irrigation, and durable materials ensure longevity. By anticipating growth and seasonal variation, the design evolves gracefully instead of demanding constant repair. The psychological impact of these techniques cannot be underestimated. When a homeowner sees a once neglected corner reborn through their own hands, pride emerges. A sense of ownership deepens connection to place. Children who plant flowers watch them bloom and learn responsibility. Families gather in outdoor rooms and rediscover simple joys. The makeover becomes more than an aesthetic project. It becomes a catalyst for lifestyle transformation. Every choice, from the placement of a bench to the selection of a shrub, contributes to narrative. The garden tells a story of resourcefulness, of harmony with nature, of creativity within limits. This story resonates deeply because it reflects universal values. We all seek beauty, but we also seek belonging, meaning, and connection. A budget-friendly garden makeover, executed with thought and care, delivers all of these in abundance. The final stage of this journey is to explore not only how a garden can be created, but also how it can evolve, adapt, and remain relevant as lifestyles and trends shift over time. A makeover is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of an ongoing dialogue between people, space, and nature. To sustain beauty on a budget, one must think in terms of growth, flexibility, and renewal. A well-designed garden should grow with its owners. As families expand, children may need a play area, while later years may call for quieter corners of reflection. The design must anticipate change. For example, modular furniture allows easy rearrangement. Raised beds can be repurposed from flowers to vegetables, and pergolas can host swings in one season and hammocks in another. Flexibility is the secret ingredient that keeps a garden alive. Seasonality plays a central role in keeping interest high. Instead of focusing on one moment of bloom, the design should celebrate every season. Spring invites blossoms and freshness, summer celebrates greenery and gatherings, autumn showcases warm foliage and harvest crops, and winter highlights evergreens, sculptural branches, and lighting displays. A budget-friendly gardener embraces plants and decor that shift with the seasons, ensuring there is always something new to experience. Another important principle is layering experiences. A garden should not reveal everything at once. Instead, it unfolds slowly, offering surprises as one moves through it. A bend in a pathway might reveal a small water feature. A trellis could hide a corner filled with herbs. A seating area might be tucked behind tall grasses, offering intimacy and discovery. These moments of reveal do not require expensive additions, only thoughtful arrangement. Community and social connection are also increasingly woven into garden design. Gardens are no longer private domains alone, they are shared spaces. Neighbors exchange seeds, friends gather for outdoor meals, and children play together across fences softened by greenery. Budget-friendly design encourages this openness. Low walls, shared compost bins, or community garden patches foster collective stewardship. The garden, then, becomes not only a personal sanctuary, but also part of a wider network of belonging. Looking to the future, gardens will integrate even more deeply with technology. Affordable sensors can track soil moisture, apps can suggest when to water, and lightweight solar panels can power small features. Imagine a garden that reminds you when to harvest herbs, adjusts lighting automatically, or plays soft music in the evening, all achieved with accessible devices. This blending of tradition and technology does not erase the natural charm of a garden. Rather, it enhances its functionality, making care simpler and more sustainable. Another element of future readiness is resilience. Climate patterns are changing and gardens must adapt. Plants that tolerate drought, wind, or sudden rains will dominate choices. Rain gardens, bioswales, and permeable pavements will help control water. Shade trees will mitigate heat. The resilient garden does not resist change. It flows with it, becoming stronger and more harmonious with the environment. Budget-friendly strategies align perfectly with resilience, since local, native, and low-maintenance plants often cost less and thrive longer. Style too, will continue to evolve. While minimalism, eco-consciousness, and comfort are dominant today, tomorrow may bring a fusion of influences. A courtyard might combine Moroccan tiles with Scandinavian wooden furniture. A tropical border may frame a modern steel pergola. Such blending of traditions celebrates global connectivity while honoring local roots. What makes these gardens timeless is not their fashion, but their adaptability. The ability to refresh decor, swap plant palettes, or reinterpret spaces without rebuilding from scratch. At the heart of every makeover lies emotion. A garden's true power is measured not in design magazines, but in lived experiences. The laughter of a family meal outdoors, the stillness of morning meditation on a stone bench, the excitement of watching tomatoes ripen on the vine, these are the successes that endure. Design is simply the framework that enables these memories. Budget-friendly design often amplifies this emotional impact because it carries personal effort and ingenuity. The handmade bench, the painted pots, the salvaged wood deck, all tell a story of care. Guests feel this authenticity immediately. There is pride in sharing not only the beauty of the space, but also the creativity that made it possible. A garden becomes a living autobiography, revealing values, tastes, and character without words. Consider the arc of transformation from beginning to end. At first, there is vision, the desire to turn a neglected or ordinary space into something meaningful. Next comes planning, defining zones, choosing materials, selecting plants, and integrating systems. Then execution, building paths, planting borders, arranging furniture, and installing lights. Finally, there is evolution, adapting to seasons, lifestyles, and trends, ensuring that the garden continues to grow with its owners. This arc is cyclical. Every few years, the cycle repeats in small ways as new plants are added, furniture is refreshed, or layouts are adjusted. This continual renewal keeps the garden evergreen, not just in foliage, but in spirit. In reflecting on this journey, it becomes clear that a garden is not separate from a home. It is an extension of architecture, of lifestyle, and of identity. A budget-friendly garden makeover is not about cutting corners, but about crafting meaning with intention. It demonstrates that beauty does not require excess, and that creativity thrives within limits. It embodies the principle that the most valuable designs are not the most expensive, but the most personal, the most thoughtful, and the most enduring. Ultimately, a timeless garden is one that belongs to its people and its place. It responds to climate, culture, and character. It shelters, nourishes, and inspires. It brings joy in the present and hope for the future. Whether grand or modest, luxurious or frugal, the essence remains the same. A garden is a stage for life itself. And when crafted with vision, strategy, and care, even the simplest makeover can blossom into something extraordinary. An everyday masterpiece of nature and design.